so cute.
Hey.
Are you nervous?
Very much.
You've been doing that for a few months already.
Yeah, and I just had to sit and listen people's stories, not to tell myself.
Now it's your turn. Oh, I have to study for the introduction. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
You're watching MoveOn, a storytelling podcast about immigration and traveling. And today, my guest is Maria. Hello, Maria. How does it feel to be the guest on your own podcast?
Weird. I confess, it's weird.
Well, you've been interviewing, but not more interviewing. It's basically a conversation with people in here.
As usual,
And now you're just changing a little bit so people hear more about you. And I actually really glad that you invited me once again. And I'm always happy to be here and talking to you. And now people will know more about you and Russia and your story. So welcome to your show.
That's the best. I love it. Thank you.
One funny fact, you mentioned to me before that this is the 13th episode of your podcast.
Yes.
And you mentioned that you decided to be the guest in this episode because of the number. Why was this exactly? Why was it that?
I didn't want to throw anyone under the bus because number 13 is unlucky. At least in my culture. Like it's very unlucky. I think in Russia we even have buildings with no flats number 13.
Really?
Yes, it's very unlucky. It's very bad. Russia is very superstitious nation.
Okay.
Very much. Okay, if we go to traveling, we have to, before leaving the apartment, sit and shut up. Sit in silence.
Really?
Yes, because in the house there is a ghost is living, not a ghost, like a housekeeper ghost. He is a good one.
Okay. One of the good ones.
Yeah, one of the good ones. And before leaving, you kind of have to make it low key that you are leaving to not disturb him. Because if he will feel that you are leaving, he will bring you bad luck. So you have to escape from him.
Okay.
In other words, I don't know. And this is just one example. We are crazy about superstitious.
But this is a common practice indeed?
It's very common.
My family and myself in Brazil, we are the loudest people leaving the house, grabbing the keys, car keys and packages and so on. I think we wouldn't be able to have this ghost housekeeper in our house. No, not for sure.
Exactly. And you mentioned that for you 13 doesn't mean anything. I mean, lucky number.
Actually, there is some kind of superstition in Brazil as well with numbers. And I think it's actually divided. Some people say that brings bad luck and they try to avoid it. But
it exists.
Yes, but not as hard as not having the apartment number with 13. But on the other hand, there's people and a lot of people that says that the number 13, it's actually good luck, which I think it's my case. Well, I actually don't believe much in this, but I would say 13 is a nice number. And yeah. And then as I mentioned to you, I came here on the very first episode. Yes. And I'm coming back to the 13 episode.
13, yes.
So yeah, I think I'm lucky to be here. So that's good.
So for you, it's luck. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Wow, where should I start? Because this is a story of 15 years long. By the way, I was born in USSR, the country that doesn't exist anymore. That's also a fun fact. You know that? It all started with my mom. Met my dad. And they fell in love. And then they had me. Hi, I'm Ryan. And my life is kind of crazy. I was raised in a very interesting way. I was raised on a ship.
On a ship?
Yes.
Really?
And exactly, I also feel it's kind of unreal, surreal, I would say, to tell. And when I tell the story, I also doubting myself, like, really? Did it happen to me? But yes, it happened. And Fortunately, I have pictures to prove myself that it really happened, because I have my memory is a piece of garbage.
Same here.
Once a friend of mine asked me, what is your first memory, like as a child, as a human, let's say? And I kind of struggled for a bit, because I don't really remember like the first thing. But I took my time, and I think my first memory was exactly from the ship. And it was a master room, where you drive the ship. My father was driving. My father is a sailor till these days. And my mom was there, and she was teaching me Russian traditional songs. So we were singing on a ship with my father working. Yeah, and that's like kind of my first and very bright memory. And yeah, it kind of, I don't know, dictate the whole my life, the way I am. And I think like every psychologist will start to dig into your childhood.
Of course.
Yeah. And when I start to dig into my childhood, I'm like, okay, that's why I am this way. I feel a bit weird in a way, because people cannot resonate with my story. They cannot relate because they don't understand. And even you right now, because you don't have an exposure to ship industry, to the boat, sailing industry, marine industry. And like for you, it's like, how it even doesn't work like a child, like on a oil tanker, because it was a huge tanker.
Oh my.
It was a professional ship. So yeah, it all started with my mom and my dad. And my mom is from one side of Russia, my father from another side of Russia. They met in East Russian in Vladivostok. And so basically my father like married my mom and took her to his place, let's say. But he was keep studying sailing, and then he went to work. And eventually, I think when I was around maybe 2 years old, my mom got a job on a ship also. So they were both working and raising me. And we were not an exception. There was like families did that. Even though it's like kind of,
all right. So,
it's kind of like you shouldn't do that, let's say. But people found a way still to be with the families. Like they managed, and we were not exceptional. And before like first 2 years, we were traveling quite a lot between families, like family from this side of the world to the another side of the world. So for 4 years, like from 2 to 6, to 7 years old, I was raised on a ship.
You would spend most of the time inside the ship, or you would also stay on?
No, it was like totally ship. After that, when I reached 7 years old, unfortunately, the fun was over because I had to get education and became a normal person. Those, 5 years of my life were the best, the craziest. But for me, it was like a normal. It was normal,
it's
right?
It's all you knew, yes.
Yes, exactly. It's like, it's all I knew. It's like, right now I feel like a Mowgli who was taken from a jungle. I'm like, no, bring me back to my jungle. I want to go back to jungle. So yeah, it's a little bit weird. So I had to go and get education. Then I had to go graduate university. I had to get a job, and it always was a little bit of suffer. But during my school time, I was still able to visit my father for 3 months of holidays. Like during the year, children have a holidays, right?
Yes.
In our case, it was June, July, August in Russia, and every year, we never been in any other places. It's like holidays, we go to the father's ship, and it was every time like this. I never been in kindergarten, and I liked the idea that I was raised among like 17 masculine men, like a man. And I've learned things with those men. And I really happy about that. But then I had to go and interact with land people from the land. And I couldn't. It's just like it didn't match, and I couldn't. I always struggled with that. But once I got back to the ship, it's again like my environment. It's crazy. It's hard to imagine. It's crazy. One of the stories that my mom told me, I don't remember that. So to apply to school, you have to pass the test with a psychologist. Thing like this. So they test basic stuff from you. Like, do you know some objects, maybe some numbers, alphabets, something like to see if you are not disabled or something, that you are capable to study with the rest, something like this. It's a normal basic test. And I didn't pass because they asked me weird
land people questions.
Land people. And land people, and land stuff. So I don't know in the English name for that. You use it on the farm to dig into the, not to dig, but to make the earth a little bit more softer.
Okay.
So it has like pointers, and you like dig, slightly dig.
I don't know the name in English, but I
you
know
got
what
it.
you mean.
Yes. I'll put the name here. I'll have to Google this. And I didn't know that. They showed me the picture, and I cried because I didn't know what's that. Like I had no clue what the farmers were using. And I cried, I laughed, and my mom came to the psychologist, and she said, ask her what like this ship element means. Ask her what like a master room in the ship contain. Ask her like things from the sailing industry, because that's all I knew. And yes, my mom explained, and they took me.
Probably land people doesn't know what you know about sailing. Do you know to do those sailor knots in ropes or anything like
not on a professional level. I don't know names, so no. And that's actually really interesting because even though I spent there enormous time, like non-stop, a few years, my father never taught me anything.
Okay.
Even worse, he was protecting me to get to know things. So basically I was raised in a way, don't touch this, don't go there, here's the Barbie. Like he basically protected me. And when was the time to go to the university, I kind of mentioned that I would like to work in this industry and I would like to get an education. And he said no, and the topic was closed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So he didn't want you to become a sailor or something.
Yes, very, very much. He want me to be as normal as possible, as land people. But he raised me on a ship. It's like a big question mark. I feel weird sometimes in the apartment because on a ship never stops.
Yes.
She always has like buzzing noises, machines are working, pumping, something is pumping, water is running, someone is doing something. It's a live organism. It never sleeps. And you learn how to sleep with this. And here, when it's silent, I feel like, ugh, like why? Just please make noises. Please, someone, please make noises. So I do feel weird, and I kind of miss that that thing that is alive, not dead. But yeah, I really miss that. I miss those times.
Well, you know, in YouTube, there's those nature sounds for people to sleep. You should find,
sheep sounds. It's a good idea. Yeah. It's a good idea.
If they have, I don't know, but you can just...
Or I'll do a startup. I'll create those noises for people like me from this industry.
From sea people now.
Yes. Earth is not my element.
Which one was the first, travel that you did by yourself abroad after this period?
Ooh, nice question. Because I didn't travel anywhere but Russia for a very long time. And I think the first trip we've done with my best friend after we graduated from the university. So we were around 21 years old. Something like this. And we went we did a Euro trip because we wanted to cover as much as possible. We were very desperate about we wanted something new. We wanted a reward after graduation because it was tough graduation, and we went through Latvia to Sweden. From Sweden, we flew to Italy. And then one night in Austria, and we flew back to Russia. So yeah, and at that trip, I've learned that I am in love with Italy. And that's it blew my mind because we went from Sweden to Italy, and over a few hours, I don't know, 3 hours flying, we went through from jackets and being cold to dresses and flip-flops, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want in my life. That's what I need in my life. I love it. And as of that time, I was coming back to Italy so many times. I spent there so many times. I was coming back again and again and again and again. I think I've been there maybe 7 times.
Wow.
Yeah, quite a lot. And every time I ask myself, maybe we should go to another place. We never been in France. No, Italy. There is something, I think also a psychological in that when we are doing the same things that feels comfortable. New things is you don't know what to expect.
Exactly.
But the things that it makes you feel nice and cozy, and you'll know what to expect, everything.
Yeah, I've never been there myself, but I would love to, yeah.
Yeah, I never been, it's a paradox, I never been in the south of Italy. I only been on the north, and I'm a big fan of the north. South is, I know by people's stories that is completely different, and it's different vibes, and I don't want to ruin my feeling of Italy. So I created this little thing, and I want this way. I want to keep it this way. And if I would recommend North.
Okay, all right.
I think I lost my heart in Venice. It's just, it was the first city I ever in my life, and I'm very good at directions. I lost there. Because they don't have name of the streets. They have name of canals.
Oh, okay.
And it's not, I don't know, I don't know. I don't understand. There's numbers of buildings are very weird, and the canals interact each other in a weird way. And sometimes there is a street because there is a bridge, but there is a street, and street it could be this long. So it could be.
Damn.
It's, so it was the only city I bought a map.
Okay.
And it didn't help. I opened this, I made a picture of it. I'm like, that's a pointless. I don't know. It just didn't work. So I was walking just I was discovering things on my own. And I bought I also don't buy souvenirs from places because I hate souvenirs. It's dumb thing to do. But I did it in Venice. I did an exception. I bought a hoodie.
Okay.
It's it's very, very sailor hoodie. Maybe I'll also post a picture here. It's the stripe one and saying Venice. When I arrived to my friend that I stayed over, he said, that's very touristic thing. So he was so disappointed in me. I'm like, I love it so much. And I kept it till these days. It's in a very bad condition because the fabric was very cheap. But I kept it, and I think I will frame it one day because I just love it. That was the best. But somehow, if I would like to live in Italy, I would choose Como, city Como, or cities around Como Lake. It's very up north, very up north, but it's so beautiful. It has everything. It has mountains, it has lake. You can fly, you can rent a airplane there and fly a little bit. They have air club, amazing. You can take a boat, and I took a boat with a friend there. And it's just very beautiful. It's not very packed with the people. Someone told me, yeah, you have a very fancy taste because those places are summer houses for celebrities.
After this amount of time in Italy, do you know any Italian? Did you get to learn the language or not really?
Not really. I have to confess, I know about Italy, zero. I know only one thing. It feels good there. That's all I know. That's all I know. I tried to, it's like a disaster. I'm disappointing myself right now talking about this, but I tried to learn states of Italy, the regions.
Yeah.
And where they're located. So I printed out and I was trying to test myself every time, like, okay, where is this? Where is that? I was trying to memorize it. Never worked. I still don't know regions of Italy. I still don't know anything. Oh my God. It's so bad because my best friends here in Poland, Italians are Italians. And now they are probably very disappointed of me. And I'm listening to them very carefully, but still no.
Italian friends, help Maria study and learn how to use a map in Venice maybe as well.
Yes, it's so bad. And I tried to learn Italian a little bit because I was slightly in love with an Italian boy, and I wanted to move, and I wanted to communicate with him, with family, whatever. But I never had enough motivation. Also, lack of practice.
Yes,
like in Russia, like where you're gonna practice Italian, like almost nowhere. And now, yes, we have internet. But back in time, like almost more than 10 years ago, was not much things. So I didn't put enough effort. So no, these days, of course, everything is vanished already. All my knowledge. But now I'm learning Spanish. Speaking about salsa, so I never been like in parties.
Okay.
I've never been in a. I know it's a lie. Okay, scratch that. I've been in parties. For Americans, it's harder because they don't have r. They have r.
Yes.
And for them, it's like Costa Rica. They would say, and for me, it's Costa Rica. I can say that. I can. And people loved it when I was there. People loved. They say, like, you said it like correctly. It's Costa Rica. It's like, I know. Que rica Costa Rica. I stick with the rice and beans and eggs. Oh my God, Costa Rican's gonna kill me. There's the name for that dish. Maybe do you know this? Help me! Rice, beans, and egg, and also like meat, I believe.
I would just call rice, beans, and egg. At least in Brazil it is.
Just like that complicated? No, it's like a breakfast and they have a name for it. I'll cut this out.
I am wondering now, how did you end up in Costa Rica? When did you go there?
It was like 3 years ago. The best trip ever. But yeah. What can I say? I'm crying. I went there after a hard breakup. I was looking for a way to recover. I needed some like really nice views with the nice people. And back in time, I had a great friend of mine. She natively partially Russian, partially Costa Rican. And she told me like, just go. So she recommended to me to go. So I went there and I stayed for 2 months. It was a great time indeed. But when I was there, I was like, I don't know. I was very stressed. I was in a bubble, in a comfort zone. I was stressed about everything because everyone was told me that, like, don't wear jewelries. Keep your bag closer to you. Don't go alone. Empty street means bad street. So I was frightened. So I was really, really scared of many things. And my culture was different. I never experienced anything like Latin culture in my life. It was mind-blowing. So people so open, so many hugs, so many kisses. And at the very beginning, I was like, what's that? It's like, don't. And thanks for one person. He was coming to me every morning. He was my colleague. And he gave me a hug and a kiss. Very persistent, very like consistent every day. So I think like after maybe 2 weeks, my heart melted and I was like, where is my hug? Where's my daily case?
Okay, all right. That's really interesting.
Yes, I started to change. And then in my office, we had people who brought guitars to the office.
Okay.
And hard to imagine, we are colleagues with you. It's hard to imagine someone in Poznan will bring a guitar and start like doing things during the lunch.
Yes, exactly.
It's very weird. But there, it's like, hey guys, like, you want to jam? Like, let's go jam. And I'm like, that's awesome. And I sometimes skipped my lunches and I just took bread with a jam, my tea, and I went there and I was sitting with the people who were playing guitars. It's so amazing.
So nice. Yeah, they're so laid back.
Yes. Yeah. Even though like it's the same like pressure, the work is not that easy. Oh my God. The approach of Latin people is so different. I don't know. I got in love with this. The interesting part of it that before going to Costa Rica, I broke a foot. I broke my foot. Okay. It's a weird story. And I don't know how to describe it. Maybe I'll beep it. And unfortunately, it was not enough, and I fainted and I landed on my foot.
Ouch.
Yeah, and I was sure I stretched it. Just stretch because, it was painful. But in 1 month, nothing. Okay. And I visited, I think that in 1 month I visited 2 doctors. And the first one said, like, just wait. The second said, I'll give you something more, but it's still just a stretch. And then I visited the guy then I visited the clinic actually with a better equipment, like the best in Poznan, I believe. So he looked at my feet and I had, this is like my feet and I had 4 broken bones. They were cracked, let's say cracked. That's why it never,
it never recovered. Yeah.
It like ideally I would need like 6 months to fully recover. And I think even now, after 3 years, I still feel sometimes that it's not fully there. But I was about to go to Costa Rica. I had everything planned and I broke my foot. And I'm like, that's a disaster. But I have to go. So I had, what's the name for that? Like when the things that helps you to walk?
Okay.
You got what I mean?
Yes.
Like those sticks?
Yes, you add the name here. Right?
Yeah, I will add it. I have to look up for it. Our English is awesome.
Yes.
English is our second language. So yes, I had to use those because I was already like in a better condition, but I still was wearing a boot, a fixed boot, like orthopedic boot, and I had to use those things. But when I packed my luggage, I had like a very teeny tiny small backpack, but quite heavy laptop case and my bag on the wheels, like suitcase on the wheels. Yeah. So when I kind of put everything on me, I'm like, I have no empty hands to have those things. But I'm like, okay, I will definitely go with no boot. So I made this decision. It was kind of like, risky. And it was the time when I had to go out. I packed everything. I took those things, like a laptop here. Everything is so I went, I made 100 meters. I'm like, I came back. I left those things and I was like, I'm going to Costa Rica. So I still went and people couldn't believe when I arrived. I said I cannot they invited me to salsa. I cannot really dance.
That, yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, I really cannot dance. I broke my foot. And they was like you were right now with a broken foot. I'm like, yeah. And some people noticed that I walk weirdly. Like, are you all right? I'm like, no. But it didn't, I had a plan. Boom, I had to go. I really desperately, I needed that. And there's no regrets. And it's a fun story.
Yes.
Like salsa, they dance salsa everywhere. Every place has a karaoke place. Every even a very small bar has this. And every time I went I went home, I saw one bar on my way, and it was like a few guys just there, but singing karaoke.
That's fun.
It's a thing there. Karaoke, football. Everyone is playing football. Literally everyone. And I think they have the same amount of fields as churches, because church has a football field right in front of it in every city. It kind of goes together. It's like another religion. So what else? A lot of fruits, exotic fruits that I never seen in my life, and I tried a couple of them. Very impressed, but nothing like this here. But I still like, and I know that but you can buy here platanitos.
Yes, I really like them.
Yeah, and it's kind of possible to find it here. Even though in Costa Rica I was highly alerted with all those things that people told me, I still was kind of dumb. And I still felt like I still went with my way of traveling. Okay. So I'm like, I just go myself to the zoo. I wanted to visit the zoo and no one was available among my friends. And I was like, I need no one. I just go. So basically it was kind of in another province.
Okay.
From my province where I was living. So it was a weekend and I had to took a long walk on the street that doesn't exist, which is kind of a thing probably in Costa Rica. It's just one road for cars and bicycles and people. There is no sidewalk for people.
Okay.
So I had to go to the bus station, and then I was waiting forever for a bus, because in Costa Rica you have to read what is written on the front of the bus to understand where it goes. It has all stops written on the on the front window.
Okay.
Is it the same in Brazil?
More or less, it shows where a few, let's say, neighborhoods that they are going. So
yes, exactly. So I was like, okay, I need go to this province, which is not the final destination still, because there, according to Google, there was no direct. I had to switch buses. So Google helped a lot. I checked which number of bus I had to catch, and I really had to catch this, and I had to read really fast, but probably was my bus. So I was waiting for ages, and I didn't know if I have to hitchhike the bus, because apparently I had to. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. Well, if it's like Brazil, they won't stop. If you're at the bus stop and you don't just
you have to make a signal that you need this bus. So I was just waiting there. And fortunately at some point more people came and they stopped the buses. So I took this bus and I went to one province, and then I walked through this province because it's not the same bus station, so I had to take another bus in another place. But then I realized that I cannot, I don't understand what bus to take, so I took an Uber. Okay, I was and Uber is fortunately really safe to take in Costa Rica. It's a good way to go. So I took an Uber after quite long walking, and I ended up in the zoo. And unfortunately, when I arrived, it was very late. So it was 1 hour left of zoo was open. I'm okay, I have to really fast look everything. In the zoo, they spoke English, so they helped me, and I went back with them. They were, all of them, workers. They finished, they closed the zoo, and all of us, we went to the bus stop. They didn't talk to me, but I knew that if I'll stick with them, I will go back to the main province that I have to be. And I arrived there. Then I had to take this bus, this weird bus that I have to hitchhike. So I took it and I came back home very, very, very late hours because it took me that long. But I was so proud of myself. I'm oh my God, without any help, alone, just checking, oh my God, my pride was my confidence was on the top. But then people told me are you? Ding, ding, ding. About being safe or not safe, I also had a very interesting situation. I was with a friend. I was not alone. It was quite like evening already.
Okay.
We bought pizza and it was like chill outside. So I had my hoodie and I was with a hood on my head. So because it was chill and I was like with the pizza and friend of mine like, remove the hood. I'm like, what? Remove the hood. I'm like, why? You threatening people? Yeah, because like you're you look like you're dangerous. Since then, I realized that if I see people in the hood, you're dangerous.
Or you ask them to remove. Damn, I didn't know that. Well, first, the most surprising part of this story that you told is that you were wearing hood in Costa Rica. Because it's super warm there.
Okay.
I lived 1 year in Panama. I never wore any sweatshirt and you were with a hood. So I don't know if I don't know if you feel too cold in general, or I don't know.
Yes. It's yes.
And how did you live all those years in Russia and by the sea?
It was not living, it was surviving and fighting the nature. It's a very important thing to know about me. I am very sensitive to cold. People don't believe me, but you're Russian. You like cold is in your blood. Bear is your pet, and vodka, I don't know, is like your morning drink. I hate cold, and I was really cold in Costa Rica. Every every wind is like, for me, it's like, oh, where's my sweater? And yeah.
But you have to tell people from here, how cold is this cold in Costa Rica? How many degrees Celsius? Tell them.
Okay. Over 20? 20 Celsius?
I can't believe it. I hate sweat. I prefer to feel cold than be sweaty. And in Poland I never expected that I would do that, but in Poland I bought a ventilator, a fan, because the summer was quite warm for me, and it was, I don't know, 25, 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Even though I'm used to plus 30, 35 degrees weather in Brazil, but here I bought a fan because I was feeling too warm, and I don't like it very much. But yeah.
I would say neither is good. Too cold or too hot, both of them are the worst.
Yes, that's true.
It's like your brain doesn't work. It's hard to concentrate because you are either melting or like freezing. And yes, unfortunately, stereotypes are like, you are Russian. You supposed to resist cold.
Resist the cold and be strong for alcohol.
Oh, yes. I'm very bad with alcohol. I'm very bad with this. When I drink a little bit, I'm like the dumbest person ever. And it's nothing fun in this. I'm very bad with alcohol. And I don't drink vodka. That is all. Shock content.
That would be the title. Yes. Russian lady doesn't drink alcohol, doesn't drink vodka.
Doesn't drink vodka, yes, specifically. No, I do drink alcohol from time to time, but vodka, I don't understand the taste. I don't
know. I don't believe people drink for the taste.
Okay, yes, you're right.
If I am, I don't know. If someone will be mad at me, I'm sorry, but you don't drink for the taste. You drink to feel light and get drunk. It doesn't taste good. So yeah.
But from strong alcohols, I would prefer like whiskey scotch or rather than shots of vodka. So I don't understand that. I didn't learn this culture. Maybe also because on the ship, coming back to the topic, there was it's impossible to drink. You are at work. There's like no alcohol whatsoever. Of course, the guys were drinking outside when they were going to the city, like from ports, they go to the cities. Yeah, of course, like fun. But I was a little girl, so I never was exposed to that. My first alcohol I was on the second grade at the university. I was around 18 years old. So it's kind of like shame for Russian. Start to drink at 18 at the university. My first grade, people were making fun of me. It's like, You still don't drink alcohol.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a pussy of alcohol for alcohol.
Oh
But
my.
yeah, the stereotypes I don't like, and I'm trying to fight them. I'm not a typical Russian, and I don't like what people see in me before knowing me. It's like, and when they ask that, I say like, yeah, I'm a broken Russian. I'm
Broken.
defected, yeah. Damaged, defected, I don't know, wrong one.
I think as well that I think I mentioned in the previous podcast that we had about stereotypes, that they are usually, you generalize and they don't mean that all people are like that. And we have to fight, especially the bad stereotypes, because they can create prejudice and all the bad things that come with you, for example, when I first met you, and even myself, I had in my head, oh, it's a Russian girl, so she might be a little cold, distant, and I found how lovely and warm you are, especially with your background going to Costa Rica and these Latin vibes as well. So you are the warmest Russian that I know. Yeah, living here in Poland specifically, I see a lot of people that they don't fit in the stereotypes because basically they are different of what it's told that it's the normal for them. And the more we travel, the more we see it.
Yes, it opens our mind.
Exactly.
I realized that for some people, I am kind of a window to my culture. So they never met Russians, they met me, and I am representative of the culture. So I feel the mission to show Russia in a better light, in a better way, not proving the stereotypes, being different, and proving that, Russia could be different. And I think also people who left their country, they are different, slightly different, because they feel they don't fit in. I mean, in my case at least, because I felt I don't fit into the Russian society. But if you go to Russia, especially like further than Moscow, you will see all those cold people with the poker faces drinking vodka. You're gonna see this. But I left because I felt like I am something different. I'm something more. We are not on the same page with those people. But yeah, I'm trying to convey the message of different Russian people, and I hope this stick with the people, the good part, the interesting part, not the bad things. Okay, I think we can skip the Russo because there is no. Okay. Let's. You can ask me. It's like, why?
Because I'm curious.
You can.
When I found that you were working the same firm as I was working, I tried to look you up, and I was typing Maria Russo as in your social media, and I was like, where is it? I couldn't find. So Russo is not your real name, right?
No. But it sounds nice, right? Maria Russo?
Yes. And well, it fits because it means Russian, right?
Yes. So it kind of was like a double meaning in that. So Maria Russo is my nickname that I have chosen to myself when I was in love with Italy. And I was I really wanted to marry an Italian guy, any Italian guy, any will do.
Okay, you might get some comments after that because that's an important information. Your inbox will get crazy.
Okay. I don't know if I'm ready for that. So basically, it never happened. I'm still single. So it never happened, and I was so I'm like, why do I need any man? I can like if I would, in Russia, if you would marry a man, you will change the last name. So I imagined that I got married with an Italian guy and I took his last name. So I was searching for Italian names and I've chosen the one that I really like. And that was kind of Russo, which also means Russia, Russian, male Russian, but I didn't want to put it like Russa, meaning Russian Maria. It's like, I don't know. I wanted, it will be a little bit like a question mark, like why? So my official name is Maria Serova, very Russian. Yeah. And this is my podcast, MoveOn. And from next episodes, there will be new guests from different countries. But for now, I'm really happy that Henrique was again here in my studio, helped me to do this episode happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for being my guest today.
Yes.
Really appreciate it. And as I always say, it's always a pleasure to be here and talking to you. So whenever you want, I'll be more than glad to help. And I wish you success with this podcast. That is amazing. I love watching it. And
thank you.
If you guys didn't see the last episodes, the other ones, watch it because it's super nice. And yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.